Arrendor is on the brink of upheaval. For centuries, the clan struggled against giants until 400 years ago, new dragons crossed the Great Sea, forcing them to unite and build the 10 Bastions. As the threat faded, the clans fractured into the 10 Kingdoms, and all but the last Bastion were abandoned. As ancient calamities stir and darkness rises in the east, my 4 champions must rise up to unite the kingdoms, restore the Bastions, uncover their secrets, and stand against this darkness as a declaration of war.
Calagon Dör. I will discover the secrets of my lineage and cement my legacy as one of the greatest adventurers of all time.
Please stay in here. The migration of the dragons forced the migration of peoples and beasts, which brings death. We're all invasive species now. I won't let us become extinct ones.
The name's Rodrick Elwood, the voice of this generation, and the greatest performer in the world. Oh, and you should see me with a bow.
And I, Arlyn Dursalai, searching for my father's sword, Trident, to bring justice to these lands. Together, we are the 4 Horsemen.
And this is Divine Inspiration.
Hello and welcome back, as always, you beautiful people. Now, my name is Tristan, and I'm very, very excited to get back to the swing of things today after having been sick last week. A delayed reaction today. I like it. I like it.
On everything.
That works. Yeah, exactly. That works because we are admittedly a little late in general, so that's fine. So, without further ado, gather around, get comfortable, and enjoy as we tell stories of the absolute legends that are the 4 Horsemen. As a bit of a recap, it is the year 7553, and the land of Arrendor teeters on the brink of chaos. The echoes of forgotten terrors stir once more, unsettling the hearts of men. Whispers of ancient creatures returning from the shadows grow louder, and a new age of reckoning looms. Though the 10 kingdoms once stood as a bastion against the unknown, they are now fractured, their alliances sundered by greed and ambition. New nations now rise as bold leaders carve their claims into the land, and lawless frontiers become battlefields for those seeking dominion. To the south, Manshire, nestled between towering mountains and tropical shores, stands as one of the last neutral regions, sheltered from the turmoil between nations. But even its peace is fragile, as fear of the unknown grows and forgotten creatures reclaim their territory. From this peace, 4 unlikely souls have stepped forward, bound by fate and ancient prophecy. Their names now etched in the ruins of history, the self-proclaimed 4 Horsemen. It began in the Dör family farms, where Calagon, an amethyst dragonborn, unearthed a mysterious stone chest after hearing a voice call to him in the night. Alongside his half-orc best friend Cleave, the gentle yet formidable lover of creatures great and small, he set forth into the world and into the hands of fate. Their journey led them tracking massive rodents to a cave entrance where they encountered Arlyn, a storm-touched warrior, and Rodrick, his aspiring bard companion with lofty dreams. Together, they followed the trail which led to a series of giant creatures, a sign of a world returning to its primal dangers, and discovered an ancient ruin hidden deep within the mountains. With the guidance of the Waking Dawn Guild's recruiters, the brothers Jameson and Elliot Kidd, and their ally Niall Rourke, they braved the ruins, where murals foretold their coming. There, they saw themselves depicted as horsemen alongside great steeds, under the protection, and yet also simultaneously against, mighty dragons. The path led them deeper into mystery, where they unearthed an ancient stone heart, which Elliot Kidd touched to become a conduit for some sort of monstrous power that later began to overwhelm him as he grew aggravated and violent. Before they could make sense of what had transpired, a shape-shifted dragon revealed himself to them, exposing the truth. The recruiters had led them here not to train them, but to sacrifice them. Yet, the dragon, seeing their potential, instead granted them a portion of his own power, binding them to the prophecy of these 4 horsemen. With newfound power surging within them, they emerged from the ruins through a cavern, only to find a webbed cocoon dangling over a series of giant spider eggs. Freeing the lone survivor, they discovered Rumgar, a young orc child, lost and alone. Taking him under their wing, they escorted him home only to find that his clan had been slaughtered by a terrifying figure known only as the Butcher. Before they could investigate further, they found themselves besieged by a roaming warband of red goblins and hobgoblins. They set the stronghold ablaze and escaped into the wilderness, where they stumbled upon the Waking Dawn Guildhall itself, in the heart of Rudon Village. There, they met Iman and Vadid, the guild's leaders, as well as Rowan Oakley, his sister Ira, their squad leader Radek, and other guild members. As they settled into their newfound home, trouble followed them there even. The Red Goblins had followed, now threatening the village, but with the 4 horsemen among them, the guild successfully repelled the attack. Their growing reputation soon attracted the attention of Ambassador Ivandil Valor of the Vindril dynasty, who issued them a mission: locate and retrieve a man known by most only as the Archaeologist within 1 week's time. Before setting out, they aided the ratfolk merchant Osmanthus, who had accidentally unleashed a sentient ooze named Flang into the city's underbelly. In return for their help, he rewarded them with mounts and information needed for their next great journey. Entrusting Rumgar's safety to Cleave's family, they now aim to ride forth on their newly acquired Sandwalker mounts across the blistering sands towards this crag, the gateway to the brutal warlike land of Gracht, where their target, the Archaeologist, was last seen. As the group rests within the local inn here in Rudon, Cleave finds himself seated beside the ratfolk merchant named Osmanthus, listening for a few hours now as he continues on issuing commands, guiding his hands, helping him to avoid explosions, and teaching him how best to wear the mask and how best to avoid harm using this mask that Oz had just given to Cleave and to each of the 4 horsemen. Cleave, as you sit in and you listen, he shows you a few things that are certainly different from what you'd had initially learned in your own ways, but he seems to showcase exceptional skill in ways that are clearly unrivaled in his field. You can tell that he is certainly an alchemist by trade, and this is his chosen profession out of the smattering of tinkering tools and things strewn about his shop here. As he looks to you and he finishes with his final points, he takes a deep breath and he takes a pause and he looks you dead in the eye and he says, "Listen, Cleave, there's something that's really weighing on me. Normally I go out and I retrieve mounts and things for people given certain pay, but obviously you guys just recently did me a pretty huge favor, and, well, frankly, I owe you my life, so I really don't want to steer you straight into death."
What do you mean?
It's not a safe place out there, and even I only go so far, and I'm fairly well off, and typically what I do is I just follow Radek in wherever he goes. Just kind of pick up the pieces, watch as goblin carcasses fly about, and then I kind of sneak behind and steal stuff off of them, honestly. But, I guess it's rather well known out here for some of us who've been traveled for some time, but from what you guys have told me so far, it doesn't seem like there's been a lot of experience out in the wilds here. Is that about right?
Well, not for most of us. Now, it's funny, I had assumed that your specialty was in, in the wilds and in wrangling and such, but it's just because that's what called to me first about what you do. Well, that's something of a specialty of mine, but truth be told, we 4 horsemen really rely on our strongest. Rodrick.
Oh, of course, okay.
And he comes from the wilds. He's lived in the wilds. That's where he was born.
Wow.
This is his natural habitat. If there's anything that I know, it's about creatures in their natural habitat, and he knows it well.
Okay.
So don't worry about us. But any help you have to offer is very welcome, of course.
All right. Well, just remember that anything past the crag, that's Toscan's territory.
That's what's territory?
Toscan, the leader of the orcs.
The leader of the orcs, yeah. Well, I
He's-
should hope so.
He's forged some weird alliances recently. The creatures out there, they're not like what you find around here. They harken back to the past. These creatures are giant, to say the least. Not things to be messed with. Avoid them at all costs. Oh,
Wow.
and I know the masks are really useful and all. Don't take them as the end all be all. If you find yourself in a sandstorm, hide.
I'm still not entirely sure what you do with them.
Just keep them on until you see people. If you can avoid wearing them in front of people, please do, but they'll get you through the sandstorms as long as you don't face whatever's inside of them. I've not seen them myself, but I hear just stories about the nightmares that live within.
Monsters in the storm. Well,
Yeah.
I know something of that as well. I would avoid, but I can't help but feel that, like with Toscan, is it?
Toscan, yeah.
Like with Toscan, I believe that monsters in the storm are, well, they're precisely what I'm called too. So, wish me luck.
I will do just that. Well, I mean, it's been some time. I know you kind of took things a little faster than the rest of the lot, but I imagine your friends should be waking up any moment now. It's gotten dark already, so
Wow. Yeah, we'll be on our way soon. Hey, thank you very much for all the lessons on how to use this herbalism kit. I've never used them in so many of the ways that you've taught me. It's brand new. And thank you even more so for the resources to use it. These
yeah,
are
of course.
not easy things to come by, and I would know I forage, but
Yeah, they're a little tricky, especially out in the deserts, but I will say this much. The one thing I do know about that nation is they're pretty good with potions.
the Orcs nation.
I don't know how. I don't know what happened, what changed with their people, but it seems to be kind of a new specialty of theirs, honestly.
Do you think the changes are the results of the potion, or
It would make the most
vice
sense.
versa? Ah, well, that's very interesting. That makes me feel connected to my past. I'm very interested. I'll be wary, but I'm very interested to meet. Interesting. Well, I suppose I should gear up, get ready for everybody else.
Remember, masks fit to whatever form as long as you're around this size. Just, the materials inside they're not well known in these parts.
God bless.
Thank you.
So just, if anybody were to get word of the materials I use to craft them, they'll come looking for me.
Nonetheless, would it be pushing a bit too far asking for a fifth? It seems to be our lot that we pick people up along the way. We keep finding ourselves in situations where, hopefully, if our mission is to go out and help people, it won't be the last.
In truth, I only have the one more, but I'll tell you what. Why don't I just rent it to you for a time? Rather than the full 30, I can rent it to you for, say, 10 gold. And once you return, I'll return 9 of the 10 gold back. And we'll be alright.
I should be able to pay that out of just my own pocket money. I think
Okay.
it's a worthy investment.
Just please,
Thank you.
I will need this back relatively soon, so the faster you guys can get back, the better that is for my start here. As you know, I've got people coming in pretty soon, but
Is this not something that you can build again?
it kind of is. But I have to blend a lot of different components, and it's really hard to find in these parts.
Don't overthink it. I don't want to leave you without. We could be gone for who knows how long. We'll make do.
All right.
I am
well,
grateful.
I appreciate that. Good luck out there, again. And he just kind of goes and reaches up to pat on your back and realizes that he's really, really short, so he just kind of pats at your side. It's been honestly a lot better than I expected, so I hope you guys return safely.
Blessings upon you and your turtles. I pat him on the shoulder.
The turtles. You watch as he just kind of looks down towards the ground for a moment. He's like, yeah, see you later.
And all creatures under your care.
Jumps right back downstairs. Just vanishes into the sewers.
All right. I won't wake anybody up. I'll just sort of start packing and doing my little meditation, morning meditation, and all that while I wait for everybody else to get up.
Fantastic. Alrighty. As you head on back, everybody roll. I'm gonna refer to it in this case as initiative.
Wow.
Initiative.
Just as a determining who is the fastest to wake.
Oh. 9. Wait, no, I'm sorry. 6.
Nice.
10.
And
19.
19. Alrighty. Arlyn. Laid back in your room as light slowly vanishes, you can't seem to shake the thought that somehow it's following you. Anytime you close your eyes, it's not darkness you see in the back of your eyelids, but rather streaks of blue and yellow. You kind of force yourself awake a few times, and after a few of those, you realize you seem to be in a fairly vivid sleep-like state, halfway between consciousness and unconsciousness. And as you look outside, you think you see Cleave walking his way back towards this inn, and in a flash of light, you watch as everything goes black. And you hear a voice call out to you, deep within the reaches of your mind. Arlyn, this is not becoming of you. You need to fight it better.
I need to fight it better?
This thing that has taken up hold inside of you, it is not dissimilar to myself.
But I don't even know how to trigger it. Like, what am I supposed to do?
You have very few options. You must either hand it off to one who it was meant for, or you must learn to tame it by reaching into your past, into your own ancestry, and channeling it as your own. It will not be easy, but it can be done.
I want to hone this power. But will it not hurt me anytime I try?
If you are to hold on to it as it is, it will. However, in time, you can master it of your own accord.
So how do I trigger it?
Currently, it seems to be triggered by very few things. The first, by pain. The second, proximity. Proximity to the one whom it was intended for.
Who was it intended for? Calagon? Is this why I keep seeing him in my dreams?
It is. Only do be wary. In my brief travels since we'd met, I've come across this name once before. Be wary of the name Calagon. And with that, your eyes open,
be wary of the name Calagon. But that doesn't make any sense. I mean, Calagon is... He's one of us.
Rodrick,
What is that supposed to mean?
Lowly, just under his breath at first, Arlyn just kind of speaking to himself as you start to stir awake. Now, slowly listening to whatever it is he seems to be rambling about to himself off in the other side of the room.
Is he the things that he's saying under his breath are the things that he's saying right now?
Right.
Okay.
What is that supposed to mean? I don't... Be wary of his name.
I'm going to take out my songbook, and I'm going to start just taking notes of the things that he's saying and keeping them to myself.
Beautiful.
Weary of his name.
Okay.
Weary of his name.
On the other end, after a little bit more time as they kind of prep themselves for the now night ahead of them, getting ready and checking their belongings, ensuring that everything is prepped and ready to go. Calagon, you feel this sharp pain in your kind of like shoulder, neck area. And as you kind of wince in pain, you look over to your side and you can see that Barry is latched onto you. And he seems to be just in agonizing pain as he's curled up, just squeezing tighter and tighter into your skin. You can feel that his claws start sinking deep into the scales of your skin.
Oh, Barry. Can I get him off my shoulder?
Yeah, for sure.
What's going on?
And
Buddy.
he just kind of unfurls for a second. And you can see as he just kind of lies, like, arms curled up and just kind of belly up to you, and you can almost feel that he starts just feeling happy all of a sudden.
Hey, what's going on? What happened? You have a bad dream?
You can sense the fear kind of lingering somewhere deep within his mind, and you get the general idea that it seems to be the case.
Hey, Barry. What are you?
Kind of just like drops his tongue and his head with it, and just kind of stares at you.
I know you're cute. I know you're a cute dragon, but why were you up there in that mountain? Why do you look like me? So many things going on that I don't understand. And I don't know what you're upset about, or I don't even know what you are, but I think we'll find answers. You feeling okay?
He seems puzzled for a time, and you realize that as you speak to him more and more, he seems to be understanding you more as well. And the link between you seems to be growing stronger with each day. You can feel this growing connection, not just in terms of his kind of emotional intelligence, but you can see as he's now picking up minor mannerisms that are shared between the two of you now. Okay. You can see that he, like Rumgar previously, is taking in his surroundings and specifically honing his skills based on whatever it is that you do.
I'm going to start like pushing him around, kind of like wrestling with him a little bit. And is there a way I can? Or I'm gonna do prestidigitation.
Okay.
And just kind of like create little sparks that he like just nips at and stuff like that.
Nice.
And I want to. What am I thinking? As I'm making these little like sparks and he's like nipping at him, I'm like, do you think you can do that, buddy? Do you think you can try to make this happen?
he starts kind of like waving his hands around, almost like scratching at those same sparks. And after a moment of minor frustration, you can see where he just kind of pulls back and he kind of arches his little body and lets out a little pulse of energy instead.
No way. I was just kidding. I didn't. You're a pretty quick learner. Huh. I think we're gonna have some training sessions on the way to this place. All right. And then I'm gonna see if I could find some food to feed him.
Nice.
Something.
Okay. Yeah, simple enough. He
I don't think I have anything
seems
on
to
me.
eat so far just about anything that you will, so it's not hard to feed him.
So
Back on the
anything
other
around-
end, is there anything that the two of you guys would like to do before setting out for the night?
Nope. Not for me.
We just embarked in some fighting, so I'm just looking at the patches on my sword and making sure everything is good. I don't need to fix anything before I start armoring up and head out to meet with the rest.
Very cool. Alrighty.
Yeah, I would assume that by now I've probably sewn all of my whole outfit back together, and minus the one sleeve.
Of course. It's important to note that one sleeve that, of course, is forever traveling with the
You know,
beloved
symmetry is
Rumgar.
big for me, so I'll remove my other sleeve
Nice.
and keep it in one of my pockets.
Incredible.
Because you can't go out there looking ratch.
Alrighty. Fantastic. Cleave, you head back in and you watch as the innkeeper, if you will, this strong-jawed man with kind of an open white, almost looks like a blouse, honestly, just kind of walks his way up and he starts piling different plates of food, just kind of one after the next on the counter, I suppose you could call it. And he looks to you and he says, "Oh, I suppose if you don't mind, would you like to just bring those back to your people on my accord? It'd really simplify things for me. I've got to kind of make rounds for the rest of them anyway, but
Breakfast in bed. It's not a bad idea. I can
Yeah.
do that.
fantastic.
Start grabbing a couple of them up. I'll just do like a little 2 of them at a time. I'll bring the first 2 to their room.
Nice.
And
Okay.
after I've brought, unless you guys want to have an interaction after I've brought the next one to, I'll bring the first 2 to your guys' room, and I'll say, wait just a minute, be right back. When I run back, I'll grab the other 2, and I will knock on Calagon's door and tell him, hey, come on to Arlyn and Rodrick's room. Let's have some breakfast.
Nice.
Be right there.
You say that, like, kind of passing the door, you hear, like, a knock on a separate door, and the man says, room service, little late, but dinner's ready.
Yeah, well, breakfast, dinner.
Gathering all together, you all...
Do I have soup?
Soup?
I don't remember what you said he gave me.
It's actually just kind of a plated... It almost looks like a salad with just like these thick slabs of meat,
Okay, cool.
swirled that you can assume is some sort of pork or similar.
Nice. Yeah. So I'll sit down like cross-legged at one of their beds, and I'll just kind of sit and wait for Calagon to show up.
I'm gonna walk in. Did you say breakfast?
Yeah, whatever it is for you.
Huh.
I've been awake a little while, but
I see. All right.
I'll
I'm
get
gonna
out
sit
the
down
bags
next to
and
you
under my
and enjoy the meal.
At that point, I'm exiting my room and making my way out to the tavern area.
Okay.
And I guess I see you guys out in the distance, right? You guys are in your
Oh, no,
table.
they're coming to you.
We went into your room.
You went into my room.
I brought you the food, and then we're bringing our food in to eat. with
Okay,
you
I
in there.
missed that part.
He stretched his legs and then returned back.
That's it. I was like, I was still thinking about that
When
dream.
you walked out, I was like,
So I turn around and I come back and I go, I didn't even notice you guys go into my room. Anyways,
you didn't notice
We-
the 6'2" purple
let's
guy walk in.
look. I've had a lot on my mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this food for us?
Yeah. Cleave brought it. Where'd you get it?
It came with the payment of the rooms. They gave us some dinner from the kitchens.
Oh.
Lovely.
Okay. I'm gonna
Then-
stuff my face.
Rodrick,
Yes.
let's dig in.
Hey, on the subject. Oh, sorry.
Did you need his approval to eat, or what was that?
Well, we
What was
didn't want to
that?
wait for each other. Nothing weird going
was a
on there
command.
between those two.
No, it's not a command. It's just common courtesy. You wait for your brothers to begin eating before you begin eating. Unless, Cleave,
Correct.
you want to continue talking.
Well, we could talk while we eat. I did want, on the subject of food, I had an idea. I don't know how to, continue to get those Sandwalkers' favorite fruit, but I like the idea of being able to give it to them. Now, I can offer someone the ability to eat and be full for an entire day. So I was thinking maybe we could do, maybe this time we pull a little trick, but for good, not to.
Are you saying
fool
giving
anyone.
them a good berry?
Yeah.
You're talking about the Sandwalkers.
Yes.
The only reason that we can guide them anywhere is because of
They're
their hunger.
hungry.
Oh, sure. I just want them to understand they can trust us. And I would like to try one more time.
Yes, but then we dub them useless for a day, Cleave.
It's not true.
Hmm.
I would like to test one more time if I can speak with them. If I could make them understand that with us, they will never be hungry, then I think you could use some of your tricks that you two are able to pull, right? Maybe you could make a big pile of their favorite fruit, yeah? And then you make it smell like it's really in the room.
But we talked about this. If any danger were to come, and we have to tend to that, that will make the smell and the image disappear, and they'll run off.
No. This is a one time. Then we pretend to compress it all, take it, we squeeze, and on the inside, I have a good berry. Yeah? But you still make it smell like it. And when I feed it to them, you make it taste like it. And then they're full.
But didn't Oz just create a contraption to hold fruit in front of them?
Sure, I just want to establish trust. I want to meet. We're meeting them. These
But
are
it's
going
a
to be our
wild
companions.
animal. Does it matter to establish trust with a
How
wild
about this?
animal?
As soon
They'll
as
be
we
our
get there,
companions. You won't feel that way one day.
as soon as we get there, let's test that theory.
We
I'll
can
try
test.
talking to them first.
We can test it on your Sandwalker. How about that?
That's the thing. We only have 3.
Yes.
If
Test it on
one
yours.
becomes uninterested, we're gonna both have to ride together on the 2 that we have.
It's not ideal.
Oh, when I have
ride.
the-
I'm solo dolo. I ride solo dolo.
When I have a good berry, I don't feel I have a stomach ache from being so full. I just feel content. I still like the smell of food.
Yes, but would you follow it if you're not hungry?
Maybe they'll just follow us and our directives. If I could speak to them.
Why don't we try reasoning with them first? I guess if you can speak to them.
If you can talk to them, let's see what they say.
Yeah, I'm still
And don't
not
lie about what they say.
100% that you can actually speak to anything. but-
I don't believe I've ever seen anyone speak to an animal
You
before.
remember that time? Remember that time I got the giant possum to trust us? And then we killed him? Remember that time?
What do you mean?
That I
mean,
told all the animals around
yeah, but
to
it didn't-
attack the goblins, and the squirrels
It was only 2
also
days.
died?
It was 2 days ago, guys. How do you not remember
I
that?
do remember the
Wow.
animals jumping into the
Yes.
Into the
How could I
throats
forget
Into
that?
the dwarves' mouths, yeah.
of the mouths.
They
but
did their best.
I wasn't really
Well,
sure why. There was no logical reason as to
No,
why
not
that was
at all. I
happening.
did not know that was your doing, Cleave.
It
just
was an honest
found it-
mistake that time.
I just figured in war, weird things happen in war.
Oh
Let
man.
me give it a shot. You know?
Give it a shot. I say give it a shot.
Yes, I'm all for it. Just know that today we leave for Gracht.
I think
Regardless
it's about time.
Regardless.
of whether or not you dub yours completely immobile.
I have to agree, Cleave. Have to agree.
All right. Yeah,
Well-
I'll just keep working on my meal. Is there anything else you guys want
Would
to
it-
discuss?
Would it not be a better idea to try that once we are already in Grokt?
That's what I said, but
Yes,
I believe you
but
said
I see
that,
Cleave's
yes.
point. We could be dealing with other things in Grokt that maybe we might not have the time and the patience to be able to deal with the creature when we're running for our lives from
yeah,
demented orcs that are trying to kill us.
that would be.
I would like to
a
know that.
shame.
I would like them to know that they can trust us if we are attacked on the road, for example.
But
If we
they
get into
can't
a battle-
trust us.
Why can't they trust us?
I'd let them die in a heartbeat.
I wouldn't.
I'm a horseman, not a sandwalker, man.
Well, I don't
Well,
know.
we'll-
I have
we'll
a
need
soft
'em at the
spot
very
for things that
least.
help us.
That is true, but if we're running and something is faster than them, then
No, I don't
I-
even mean that. What if we put them down a place and we went off
You
to
want to
fight
put them
something?
down?
Well, no, not that polite way.
Oh,
What if we were to disembark? If we were to what's the good word for this? Dismount. What if we were to dismount and then deal with the problem over there? How would they know that they should stay with us? They should stay
you
there, not
just
go
tie
away.
them up.
We could, but they have sand powers and stuff we don't even know about.
so you can eat all
Alright.
that.
But we have the fruit.
I'm gonna take some of your food.
What if we tie them up? What if where we stop is just in the middle of the desert? There's nothing to tie them to. Wouldn't it be nice to know that they trust us to stay where they are, and then we go deal with the problem and come back? You don't want to lose our sandwalkers halfway through the desert.
Well, perhaps we should bring something. So the sandwalkers, they like to burrow into the ground, correct?
Mm.
Is that not our previous experience?
Mhm.
Maybe we tie them. Think of like a backwards anchor. Have you ever ridden in a body of water and then the anchor keeps you from floating away? Well, this anchor cannot be buried into the sand, so it keeps them from
Right.
sinking away, maybe?
like a hanging kind of anchor?
Think like a
Like a pulley
flat
system?
piece of wood
Yeah, it's
that
not
you
bad.
can't. You know,
Like if we
it's got resistance.
roped them all up to my father's chains, and then we tied in my shield,
Correct.
right? And
Yes.
then when they go underground, it's just
Yes,
That
not a terrible
Is
idea.
absolutely genius. I wonder who came up with that one.
My
Okay,
brain
Rodrick.
hurts.
Well,
Anyhow, one more order of business actually before I finish this delicious breakfast. Wow, so good. I would like to. I've been training, for the last few hours on how to make actual, a sort of alchemical, whatever, seemingly magical health potions. Something like what the good berries do, but stronger. But they do cost. Would as a group, what do you think about investing a bit into this?
Of course, that sounds fantastic. How much is it?
It wouldn't be too cheap. The market price around here to buy one is about 50 gold, but we'd just be needing the resources. I could do it for about half that price for each one. Oz has enough resources for us to make 5. That'd be 125 gold.
Is that which kind of potion?
Oof.
Which kind?
some health
It's
potions,
a
I
healing,
believe, right?
yeah.
Standard
Healing.
health potions.
I mean,
It would be a lot stronger than my good berries.
listen, the good berries, they definitely hinder the hunger, but don't necessarily feel super healthy right afterwards. But I don't really see any dedicated healers in our group. I can only heal very minimally from what I've tried.
Yes, but we're also not making much money.
Yeah, well, we can't make money if we're dead.
We
And
can't.
apparently, you
be
guys are
dead
very
without
good
money.
at dying. Or almost dying, I suppose.
I'm very good at not dying.
And I look to you for that. But
I'm all.
Cleave
How
really
about,
needs the health potions.
How about instead of 5, we do 3, and we just make sure that
Or 4, one of each.
maybe
One
one
for
for
each.
each. But what I'm saying is maybe we just make sure that if the situation gets dicey like last time, maybe all focus should be on keeping us alive.
right.
So I don't know if we need 5. 5 sounds like we use them and continue to fight. When I'm thinking about using them and then fleeing. but that's just my opinion. We have 271 gold, so it would take.
So we'd spare 100 to make 4.
That could make sense. It would take me next few days of working on our downtime, or maybe if we could take downtime at some point, I could make them all.
But would you need to work in an alchemy shop? Or can you do it on the road?
It's enough that I have the kit and the resources.
So you could do it on the road?
I could.
So 100 gold to get the materials. Everything in this city is so expensive. 100 gold to get the materials, and then you can work on the road?
I could.
I think that's a fair trade.
We'll do it on the way out. We'll stop at Oz's. I'm assuming he's the one with the stuff.
Sure.
We'll stop
And
on the way out.
I'll never let us start a day without our good berries. We will always have those to rely on, but they do expire in just a day.
Correct.
Okay.
It's definitely a foolproof plan to have something a little bit stronger if one of us goes down.
You can
Alright.
eat all your food, Rodrick.
No, I picked around the parts I don't like.
I'll take the rest.
Finishing up, packing up, and heading out now. You're greeted by Oz in the shop window, immediately hopping down and walking over 2 out of the 3 sandwalkers, remembering, of course, that you guys kind of set one as collateral, allowing you to not have to pay for the masks up front. And as he walks them over, obviously Cleave kind of stands front and center, kind of watching, guiding, and slowly kind of patting them as they seem to slowly gain some level of comfort.
My whole lead up to that, I would like to start with the ritual of sort of freely casting my speak with animals situation to see if it works.
Cool. Yeah, as you put your hand out and open your mouth, what is it that you say?
Hey there, buddy. I'm told there's this special kind of fruit that you really like. Is that true? You like it? The red one?
This thing just kind of turns its head sideways a little bit, and you guys all see as this long neck begins to dip. And as it kind of like looks at him and spins around for a second, you hear... yes.
I
What's
didn't know
going
any
on?
of you spoke back. I was gonna ask for. I'm so excited.
Why are you
Boys,
so...
I think we're on to something here.
What do you mean?
Any way you can prove this is actually happening?
Buddy, if you really like the red fruits, could you touch your nose to my finger?
Just kind of... the nose?
You're right here, your beak. Whatever that is. You touch you to here.
You watch as it kind of pulls its head back for a second and like springs it forward.
Oh, very good, very good.
Oh,
All right.
it worked.
And if you would like to have something that tastes like that, would you lay down for me?
Just kind of looks around, puzzled, but generally understanding the general sentiment as you kind of motion with it. Make an animal handling check.
Let's see.
Do we have a picture of these things?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Is it in
posted.
Discord? Okay.
I think that comes out to a dirty
It's
20.
everywhere. Instagram,
Double check.
Discord,
Dirty 20.
Moonbeam.
Okay.
Yes.
Moonbeam is...
Without
right away.
fail, it seems to get excited at the thought of this. Knowing exactly what you're talking about, it drops down. And like a camel kind of folds its legs under itself.
All right. Are there 2 of them here, or is it just
There
that
are 2
one?
of them now.
All right. Now the 2 of you, I want you to understand something about us. You see these faces? Look at everyone here. Learn our smells. We 4, him, me, him. We will always look out for you, and we will make sure that you get to eat your fill of the tastiest things. Watch this. Rodrick, Do your magic. I want you to do the
I look at Rodrick.
Calagon?
As soon as I see them show up,
Delicious, delicious things.
Wow. Whoa. So yeah, I want to like
And
summon
then-
a whole pile. There we go.
I'm gonna like with one hand like this, just press the digitation, the smell.
Okay. Joel, go ahead and roll a deception check at advantage.
Let's go. That's gonna be a 15.
15. It shouldn't be too difficult. Luckily, they just kind of look to this, and like a dog waiting for food, it isn't actually waiting at all, as this thing's beak just like attacks your hand
Yeah.
and starts trying to dig its way in.
It's not my hand.
trying to
Dude,
make
it's-
sure
we're doing like a 5-foot pile of fruit.
oh, you're just
Yeah.
keeping the whole. Oh yeah,
And
that
then
thing's going for it
I wanna,
immediately.
yeah,
then.
so that I want us to like pretend to like I want like we've discussed, wave my hand over it, and then pretend to squeeze like whenever he.
Oh yeah,
gets rid
no,
of it.
that's what I had intended.
Okay,
that's
sure.
why.
And so then whenever I pretend to squeeze it all into my hand, I want to hold it and say, I have the power to give you all of that in one bite. Taste this. And I want to take one in each hand and give them to each of them.
Okay. Yeah, without fail, they just like start and they gobble these things up real quick,
Right on.
and you can see one of them just kind of drops its head for a moment. Not juicy.
Not juicy, okay. But it does taste like it, yeah? He should have been making it
yes.
taste, yeah, okay. And how do you feel?
Not juicy.
What do you say?
He says it's not very juicy. Maybe next time we'll do it with water too.
Water.
So the next ones we give you will be juicier, but you shouldn't be hungry.
Oz pipes up. Yeah, it's not really a matter of flavor. It's that part's more their instinct. So these things can last like 2 weeks on their own, but the proper dragon fruits, they help them to about double that. It maintains hydration for longer within them. That and oozes.
Oh, and oozes. That'll
You
be
can't-
great.
You can't fake nutrition, Cleave.
Well, so then I once again would like to request perhaps we get some jars of that ooze acid. It could feed our sandwalkers and it could be a weapon.
I don't think that's quite the same. Also, it's not really an ooze per se. It's just kind of tainted water. That's not really the same thing, you know?
You might enjoy it the same.
Maybe, but I don't think it's really gonna have the effect that you're going for.
Yeah.
Do you
But
think
it's
this
like-
is a lost cause?
it's like-
Oz, or
Cucumber water.
Yes.
yes? I don't know, Cleave. I appreciate the effort, and I think it's awesome that you're able to talk to them. I think that's going to make the trip a lot easier when it comes to dealing with them. Maybe they won't run away,
It's kind of cool.
but
But an animal's an animal, Cleave. Stop anthropomorphizing, or whatever the word
What
is.
does that mean, Rodrick?
Animals.
Yes, Rodrick, what does that mean?
It means...
can you spell that?
I can try. But what it means... Let me look at my songbook. I heard it in a nearby town. It says when you see an animal and you give them characteristics of man.
I believe one day you will see the light, and you will see that the line between animals and people is not so different. You'll start to see some that share characteristics with another.
In
Oz
Cleave's
is literally
defense,
just looking at everyone like what the heck, guys?
in Cleave's defense, he does talk to them. It's kind of like a human, a little bit there.
That is true.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna point out the rodent in the room.
Yeah. Why is it some animals can talk and some
See?
can't?
Well, he's not necessarily an animal. He's not the same thing as a rat that you'd find in the sewers. Even though he
technically
is a rat that we found in the sewers.
Well, before we go, since we're stalling, what happened? How'd you become who you are? Where'd you come from?
I'm just.
think it was just born.
what my people are. I don't understand the
people.
question.
See, the
That,
line
you-
between
what-
animals
how
and
did you
people
become
for
what
him
you are?
aren't so different.
Was
Just
there
as
like
different
a,
as
You
you.
know this, Calagon.
Were you like a dragon first, and then somebody just like bibbity bobbity boo, and here you are?
I'm not gonna tell you that now.
Oh no.
Maybe one day I'll let you know.
Gentlemen, I think it's time for us to head out on this journey.
In any case, you two just stick with us. We'll lead you right.
And they seem to be generally kind of with it. Every time you usher a command, they immediately drop to and obey.
Hey, Cleave, do they have a name? Do they have names in their species?
Do you know what a name is?
No.
A name is a word, it's a sound that can come from my mouth that means you.
You.
And you, your name is. I just started. This is all still it's technically in common. Did anybody else want to just throw something in?
1,
One.
1.
2, and 3.
Your name is 1,
One.
and your name is 2. You guys could do better than that.
You put me on the spot, Cleave.
Anybody else want to try it before I lock this in?
Jeff.
Can
Jeff.
I
1,
like it.
2, and Jeff.
Yes.
who's riding Jeff?
Your friend that back over there is called Jeff. So whenever we say
Right.
Jeff, it means him. Whenever I say 1, it means you. And whenever I say 2, it means you.
For whatever reason, they kind of instinctively nod as though that is universal.
Very good, very good. 1, 2, and Jeff. I'm gonna. If we have saddles, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. No, they're fully saddled currently.
By the way,
does anybody carry
definitely the episode name.
1, 2, Jeff?
1, 2, Jeff.
Does anybody carry a quill or anything that maybe we can mark them on the saddles?
Yeah, I
assume I
can wrap something up real quick. Give me just
That'd
like
be
a
great.
moment.
Yeah, 1, 2. And Jeff is over there.
You watch as he goes over with like a series of clamps, and he just kind of starts squeezing into the leather.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
1, 2, and Jeff. I like it. All right,
That's a
Jeff.
really good dynamic.
Let's go.
Without further ado.
We're riding 1. Obviously, they already have
I'll take 2.
discourse, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I suppose Jeff, you're with me. And he just kind of pulls him back into the shop.
Wait. But I took Jeff with me.
Are
Wait,
we
no.
only riding 2 of them?
Yeah,
As we
I
leave?
forgot about that.
Oh, that is right.
As
Really?
collateral for the saddles and everything.
We're leaving one of our sandwalk. Who negotiated this deal?
Is it not you?
Was it me? Did I negotiate this horrible deal?
Oh, solo dolo Rodrick
Yeah.
now has to ride behind me.
That's so not Rodrick.
Well, it's
Can
not
I at least
solo
ride-
dolo,
Can
that's
I,
for sure.
Can I ride in front at least?
No, thank you. Can I hop on the Sandwalker?
No.
You're the one that negotiated the loss of one of our 3 Sandwalkers,
My
so...
arms don't look good wrapped around another person.
Well, that's too bad.
All right, I
off
hop
we go.
on
All right.
Jeff.
No, Jeff went with
Jeff
Todd.
left.
You're
I hop
on
on
2.
two.
We're on 1.
All right.
No Jeff left.
So you guys hop on 1 and 2, and finally take off. Oz just kind of waves you off as you now start to pass through the gates. Just kind of, he gives the honor of walking outside of his shop and kind of stepping out with you guys for a moment.
Did you get the health stuff? The potion stuff?
Yeah, you
That's fine,
wanna
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, yeah,
Okay.
we do
So
that.
how much do I take out of our gold? Was it 100 you said?
100 to make 4.
100 to make
So
4.
where are we at here?
Sorry. There we go.
Cool. All right. We're on our way.
Here we
Got
go.
here. All right. With that, as you guys step past the outer limits of Rudon Village, you can see that immediately the winds pick up right outside, and the warnings that Osmanthus had given you seem immediately apparent as far as, okay, sandstorms around here are probably fairly common. Luckily, there's nothing too close to where you guys are at. Now with that, you guys do have a general bearing of where certain landmarks are within the local vicinity. is there any set path that you guys would like to follow currently? There's that little kind of observatory deck, if you will. There is the previous fortress that you guys had traveled to. And there is kind of a hard ground area as well.
Does the observatory deck have any kind of device to like a
There's a
spyglass
telescope,
or anything?
yeah.
What do you guys think about using that as our marker so we can see the road ahead?
I say, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes. Well, I am not much of a survivalist, so I will leave this to you two to lead the way.
All right, one, we're gonna go that way.
Nice. Alrighty.
I'm gonna kind of continually be ritualing the speak with animal situation. That's like my crutch as I guide them. I'm gonna tell them I won't always be able to do this and talk to you like this, but I want you to get to know us. And as we travel, I also want to like get them to understand the names of their companions too. I want them to recognize like which face belongs to Rodrick and Arlyn and Calagon.
Okay.
Lovely.
It takes a while for you to get them to even like acknowledge each person as individuals.
Right.
They certainly don't seem to get the hang of the names individually within this time slot, unfortunately.
That'll be like the thing I work on with them long term, like all the time.
Ask them if they know each other.
Yeah.
Did you two know each other when you traveled before we came?
They just kind of look to each other and give this resounding agreement of, I have no idea.
No.
Okay.
Is this your mom?
No? Probably not.
Probably not. Okay. Low intelligence. Got it.
I don't reckon they. I kind of like. Can I like turn off speak with animals? I don't even know how that works.
Yeah, you can
I'll
you can
wait.
end it on yourself.
Yeah, I'll just kind of like turn it off for a while. I'm like, I don't think they know anything.
I don't think they're aware of that kind of thing.
It's okay. They seem friendly. So far, so good.
Then I'll keep ritualing later.
In a very similar feel to how you'd previously woken up this morning, you feel a sharp stab behind you, just off in the corner between your neck and shoulder. And you can feel as Barry is now just squeezing as tight as he can
Ow.
into your shoulder.
Barry, and I rip him off again. Dude, what is your deal?
As you look over to Barry and just kind of holding him in your hand, you watch as his head just drops for a moment. And it's not so much anger that you can see and feel from him, but it's sadness.
Sadness. Hey, Cleave, is there any way you can talk to Barry and see what's going on?
I don't know if they're the same as dragons, but if dragons are the same as animals, but I could check him out. Could I I don't know, discern in any way if this is like a medical situation or what his emotional state is or anything?
I'll say for that one, go ahead and do two separate checks, actually. Yeah, go ahead and roll a medicine check followed by an animal handling.
Right on. 13 on medicine. Wow. 22 on animal handling.
22 on animal handling. There doesn't seem to be anything notably wrong with him physically. Not that you can make out, apparently.
Looks like a healthy little bugger. Look at him. Look at him. He looks strong.
As far as any cross familiarity, he does seem similar to creatures you're familiar with, but you know generally that if he is any form of dragon, that he would kind of differ in certain I guess base ways, and anything that would allow you to speak with him much like you would these creatures, probably not going to cut it. And so as you kind of try to like cheer him up and kind of play around while Calagon takes the reins, he just seems down. He just seems kind of brokenhearted for whatever reason. And
He doesn't. I thought he might be scared around here because he was attacked here before, but I don't. If anything, he seems sad.
Sad. But why? Barry, why? Why are you sad?
as you say that, you watch as he leaps off the side and floats his way over to 2, where he lands on Arlyn's shoulder.
Was it something I said?
Did Arlyn make him sad? Or is it because...
Arlyn,
What is going on here?
did you make Barry sad?
What did I do?
Are
to
you sad about something?
Barry? I don't understand what you mean.
Or is it because you took him off your shoulder?
Barry, come here. Barry, come
Doesn't
here.
listen.
He doesn't listen?
Does not listen.
Whoa.
Barry.
You
Barry,
watch as
what are
he
you
just
doing?
drops his head onto Arlyn's shoulder.
Barry, Calagon is calling you.
He doesn't seem to be responding to anyone currently. He just closes his eyes and just rests on your shoulder for a time.
What in the world?
What?
Maybe he hasn't gotten to fly in a while.
This is very strange.
I don't know.
Arlyn, see if he'll take flight and maybe give us an aerial view of what's around us.
Barry, take flight. What do we see
He
ahead?
looks unconscious.
What?
Can I pick him up off his shoulder
Okay.
and inspect him?
Yeah, for sure. He
I thought he was going to throw him.
you can feel that he's breathing currently, and he's just kind of almost like fighting it very, very minorly as you grab hold of him, and he just kind of like largely ignores you as well.
I'm gonna hold him up to my face, and I'm just gonna flick his head like that, like as to slap him awake.
Okay.
Rodrick, what are you doing?
He kind of like opens his mouth pretty wide as though to bite you. You can tell that he's like now kind of glaring at you with like very kind of squinted eyes.
Slow down. I'm just trying to make sure that you're okay. Can you understand me, or can you only understand those like you?
As you ask, you feel anger welling up within you, and you can recognize that this emotion's not your own, but rather it's being projected onto you from Barry.
So I feel angry, but I know it's not me.
Right.
This isn't me. But I'd like to kill you.
Rodrick, snap out of it.
Snap out of what? I'm not doing.
What's going on over there?
As it ends, you can feel as it kind of leaves with him as Barry starts kind of clawing his way out of your grip.
This is a demon, not a dragon.
And he just takes off, starts flying overhead.
Didn't know Barry was a female. My gosh.
Cancelled.
Is
Oh no.
hey Calagon,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, sorry. What?
is mind control something that dragons can do?
I wouldn't know. I'm not a dragon per se.
I am not an angry individual, but when holding him, I felt anger, rage.
Don't hold him anymore. Why would
Well,
you?
it wasn't. It didn't come from the depths of me. It was like as if he placed it in me.
You're
It
saying-
went away when he went away, so I can only conclude that it was him.
You can register that it is a similar feeling to what you are familiar with, where you can sense his emotions as though they were part of your own.
I thought he could only do that with me. Seems like his allegiance is starting to Sway elsewhere.
But what did you think?
Maybe he's a teenager.
He's a dragon.
I did nothing. I don't know why he's acting like this. Barry, come back here.
You can't control a dragon.
He's a baby dragon.
It was just a matter of time that he would gain his own identity, maybe even burn us alive. Have we ever even considered that? He's a dragon. He can kill us.
Nah.
Barry would never.
Barry would never.
We saw him
He tried
hatched from
Maybe
an
he
egg.
just wants a bit
He's
of
been with us.
independence.
He's helped us. What makes you think that he's going to turn on us?
Well, he tried to bite me, first of all. Just letting you know that one.
Did he?
Wait, what?
He tried to bite me.
When?
Just now. I flicked him in the face. and
That's
he-
what you were
Ah,
doing?
well, that'll do it.
Yes,
Why
but I
did
was
you
just
flick an animal. in
I was
the
just
face?
making sure that
Flick
he was
me in
okay.
the face, Rodrick. See what I do.
I'll flick you off in the face, Calagon. You keep
You
confronting me.
better come over here and tell me that.
Everybody go ahead and roll a survival check.
Oh man.
We're fighting on the back of freaking. Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh.
11. I think the heat is getting to all of us.
5.
10.
15.
Say 20.
All right. Nick, go ahead and roll a d20 for me.
Rolling another one because that one sucks.
That's rough. buddy.
2.
2.
How much
Okay.
damage?
All right. You guys continue on, and as you can now take sight of this small little kind of observation deck, you're all caught off guard briefly by a creature snapping up through the sands and seemingly grappling at one of your mounts.
No.
Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
boy.
I feel like I know we're all not reacting a whole lot,
Actually,
but that's because
that
I
would've been this one.
I don't know if it's my place. Can I suggest a break right there? I feel like that's an awesome time for a break.
Well, I was gonna say we gotta still kind of decide real quick and
Alright.
then see if
I would like to
So-
flip out.
We
But
saw,
That is
we
great,
saw
yeah.
this creature come up out of the sand and snap at one of the sandwalkers.
So right below Cleave and
Oh, it's ours too?
Calagon.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you can see now where just underneath your feet, this mouth just kind of opens up and grabs at, I believe, one.
One.
Yeah, but that is one. And I am still currently speaking with animals. So I'm gonna be like, I know!
No way.
That's not for you!
Okay.
I'm
Right.
gonna try to jump off.
And I'm gonna try to firebolt it, I guess.
Okay, cool. All right, easy enough. Well then, per Joel's request, we'll go ahead and we'll take a break there, and we'll be back to see what happens.
All right, we'll
Come
see you
on,
guys.
guy. Dude, I just rolled a 1.
Just these dice are not nice. Dude.
All right, welcome back. Now, last we left off, after finally stepping foot out into the deserts, our party of the 4 horsemen have now faced an unusual issue where Barry doesn't seem too pleased and has seemingly stopped taking commands from Calagon. As they're dealing with these issues and heading over towards an observatory deck that they had seen previously, out of nowhere, a large snake opens up its jaws and juts out from beneath the sandwalker now named One to take a quick bite out of one of its legs. You all watch as it reels back in pain, and rather than kind of pulling back onto its hind legs like a horse would, it instead almost instinctively starts to ball up as though to shell itself into a smaller form.
Wow.
And start burrowing into the sands where it has unfortunately just been attacked from. With that, everybody go ahead and roll initiative.
Let's go.
Oh no.
Come on.
Seems like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Burrowing
Now you
inside
roll
of
Yeah.
the monster's mouth.
All right, Calagon, what you got?
17.
17. Arlyn.
I've been rolling well this whole break, And I roll a 1.
That's funny. He was rolling a bunch of
Incredible.
ones during the break.
But hold on, wait. What's
take
my
it.
initiative modifier?
Cleave?
It's coming.
7.
1. It's a 1.
Say 7?
7.
Okay. And Rodrick.
7.
Whoa.
Nice.
What's your
Alrighty.
dexterity?
+1.
Oh, I'm faster.
Ooh. As this all goes down, first up, you watch as kind of swinging his way around the area, Barry kind of side-eyes this situation for a moment. And you can see as he starts wrapping his way back. And as he dives, you see where he's able to get surprisingly low. And he almost kind of breaks eyeline with, like, the harness of this sandwalker. But he is darting quite quickly and isn't quite able to make any moves himself currently. With that, Calagon, you're up first.
Okay, after seeing that, I'm gonna jump off and roll just off the thing.
Okay.
Like, staying right next to it still. And like I said before the break, I'm gonna just, my instinct is to firebolt it.
Okay, fantastic.
20. Dirty
20. Yeah, with relative ease as you're sitting right up there and just kind of just out of distance as it kind of pulls back, you fire off just before this sandwalker drops to the floor. And go ahead and roll damage.
1.
Okay. You watch as it kind of gets swallowed back into the sands to some extent, and almost kind of dodging a good portion of it, the brunt of your firebolt hitting just the sands.
Does the sand turn into glass?
It does not, unfortunately.
Okay.
It's nowhere near hot enough for that.
Thought I'd ask.
And with that, as it falls down, there is this brief moment of fear where you realize this creature isn't just balling itself up, but rather it pulls itself back only to start trying its best to actually trample this creature.
Oh, wow.
As it drops in, you watch as it starts kicking frantically,
Oh, shoot.
but unfortunately isn't able to quite land a blow. Rodrick, you're up.
Okay. I'm going to pull out my bow and try to take a shot from atop the sandwalker.
Okay.
Does a 24 hit?
Absolutely does, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So your sandwalker isn't phased?
Well, he
His
hasn't
is
gotten
not.
bit yet.
No.
His is seemingly generally oblivious.
Oh, wow.
How much damage we talking?
11 points of damage.
Whoa.
11
that's pretty
points
good.
of
Good.
damage.
Oh my gosh.
Way to show
Wow.
me up, Roderick.
No lie.
My maximum damage on my bow.
Okay.
My maximum is.
Well,
My max is 15.
that is enough to the point where as you pull back your bow and you just, with that little snap of the string, you just hear that little twang, and before you know it, this snake is just strung through with your arrow, and you hear this light like as it pulls back, and you can hear the snap of the arrow as this thing pulls down into the sand and vanishes. And just like that, you guys are out of initiative.
Wow. Okay.
That was anticlimactic. I
what
didn't
do you
even get
mean?
to swing my sword.
It's not anticlimactic. You just didn't need to do much when I'm around.
If there's
Whoa.
one, there's many. How's the sandwalker? I'm gonna run up to it and look at it.
Yeah. How's it looking?
You can see that it definitely took some ginormous fangs to the leg, but otherwise seems to be more than capable as it immediately stands back up on all four.
You doing okay there, one? You're gonna be all right.
Can we inspect to see if any poison or venom was inserted into the sandwalker?
Make a medicine check.
I will help him. I would like to do that for sure.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and do so at advantage.
20.
20. There don't seem to be any immediate signs or symptoms. No unusual discoloring, no like numbness or seeming paralysis of the leg. There don't seem to be anything off other than just pain when you start to feel around the actual I almost said injection site, but you know, the puncture wound itself. So as you start to kind of feel around, you can see where the creature starts like wincing every time, but otherwise it's
is
very
it bleeding
much
a lot?
localized, and it is bleeding a relative, you know, amount, but not profusely.
Don't worry. I got this. I take the other sleeve out of my pocket. And I just wrap it around like a little tourniquet. Squeeze it tight.
Nice. You hear like a low bellow as it's like, "Oh," and kind of pulls back slowly, but it's seemingly still working with you guys for the most part.
I do want to include a mushed up good berry in that for some early on more what's it called, good I don't remember
Rapport?
Rapport, yeah, there's another word, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Guys, we got to get to safety or just away from here.
Or we just continue on our journey.
I'm just worried about all these things popping out of
Faith.
nowhere.
Good faith, sorry.
Nice.
It was easy to get rid of.
Did you see that? Have you ever seen anything like that?
A snake.
That was an enormous. Did you see the
Didn't
size of it?
necessarily get rid of it.
If we had seen its
It's
full
still
body,
below
I'm
us.
sure it would have been close to, I don't know, 10, 20 feet.
Well, you didn't need to see its whole body for me to be able to get it with a bullseye.
No, I wanted to say, I didn't even have to try to diffuse.
I think
I really will be relying
I think
on you.
I heard it a little bit too.
Yeah.
I definitely
No, the two of
helped.
you reacted very fast.
No.
Yeah.
I was at the front of the Sandwalker, and I couldn't even get around to reacting as quickly as you two did. It's incredible.
Well,
Thank you. All the praise.
is anybody well versed in surviving the desert, out of all places?
I don't think any of us is from the desert, but your people seem to be pretty well acquainted with the desert.
Yeah, I think that Rodrick and I do have some experience with the wilds in general. This clearly he does. That was well done. And I didn't realize you were studied a bit in medicine. That wasn't bad.
Yeah, there are basic things in my village that we had to know. We do live in a forest, so we do have a lot of encounters with different animals. So I've healed an animal here, there. Especially the monkeys. The monkeys seem to get hurt a lot out in the forest. So I've done my fair share of healing. I've also done my fair share of fighting off carnivorous beings, such as the snakes. Snakes, they don't surprise me. It's just all in a day's work, really.
Well done, Rodrick.
Yes.
I think maybe you guys should lead the way then.
Oh.
Since you have Rodrick.
The mighty Rodrick.
Guys,
Let's carry on.
don't shower me with compliments. I get awkward when I get complimented. All right, number 2. I guess you're first.
As you guys start off once more, it doesn't take very long before you start making your way towards this kind of observation deck that you've seen only at this point through Barry's eyes. And as you guys roll up to it, you can see that Barry has made his way ahead of you all and is kind of scoping the area out a little bit. And seems to be flying overhead, checking through. And at some point, he actually lands, and you can see him just kind of lapping up water over beside it.
Does it look like anyone's been here recently?
Go ahead and make an investigation check if you'd like to actually check out the whole area. This
Yeah,
would
I'm doing the
require you
same.
getting off of your mounts and kind of walking around and...
And nothing.
13.
Okay.
Nothing. Definitely not 13.
I
That's
rolled
my
a
good
15
rolls.
on investigation.
Wow. And then
Am
I
I
rolled
supposed
a
to be
nat
investigating?
20.
I'll investigate.
If you wanted to.
Nah, I don't want to do it. I'll just kick back a little longer than the other guys, and let the let 1 and 2 know. Hey, you just stay right here. We'll come right back for you. And I guess since there are trees here, we will tie 'em this time. But that'll be something I do every time to let them know to stay and wait for us. We'll
Fantastic. So you guys are coming from westward here. So more specifically, you would have to kind of drop them off down lower. But luckily, you can tie them up close enough so that they can actually drink water and kind of just hang out for a little bit,
Lovely.
getting to relax for a time.
We
Alright.
walk around talking with you guys. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I think I kind of wanted a constrictor snake. That thing would have been amazing.
Well,
But that was still very well handled.
next time we see one, we'll try to make
Yeah.
friends.
We see another one that big. Yeah, give me a shot. I think that could be fun. I've always really enjoyed the reptiles. I like them.
Okay.
So I start walking into this area here just to kind of examine what we see. Is this climbable over here?
Generally speaking, yeah. It's primarily hard ground, so it's
Okay.
not too hard to just kind of taking a bit of a moment, climb your way up.
I'm gonna follow
Cool.
you.
Yeah, I'm gonna start following them too. This is enjoyable. Are you guys
what
able to see?
is
Yeah.
this?
Did I not see anything
Place
with my
here.
13?
Not with your 13, no.
Okay.
As you all
I'm gonna look closer.
start to
No, I'm just
kind of
kidding.
check the area out, a few of you guys just kind of taking note of smaller animal tracks and things primarily around the water. You can see odd shapes and things, but the winds pick up and seem to clear it every now and then. The fact that you do see animal prints does show you that animals have been around here fairly recently. Primarily small game here, so nothing too worrying immediately. Rodrick, you on the other hand, while kind of wandering about the outskirts, do notice what look like almost snake paths for a moment.
Mhm.
And as you follow that closer and closer,
Uh-oh.
you are able to see where there's a clear break in some of the harder sand that is bunched up almost like a rock. And you can see now smaller footpaths having trailed up the backside here, where something seemingly humanoid climbed this path recently, and not having gone up the stairs.
Can I inspect the footprints and see where they lead?
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty clear for where you're at that something rode up to this with a almost sled-like straight base, and this creature climbed its way up to this observation deck at some point.
How fresh do the footsteps seem to be?
Given the winds, you take it that most of the trails here would have been gone within a few hours, so it's fairly recent.
Somebody's been here.
Why do you say that?
I found footprints, fairly fresh.
Ah, good. I was just about to check the telescope.
Was it
I'm gonna
footprints or
I'm
was
gonna
it like
stumble
snake
down
prints?
to where Rodrick's at.
Humanoid track.
Okay.
Humanoid track print. Huh.
Do you think they could be those hobgoblins?
That was just yesterday.
I'm not sure. Out here in the desert, there's all kinds of beings.
Barry, where are you?
He's just down drinking water, doing his thing.
And you said the footprints lead up to the observatory, right?
Yes, that they do.
Do they at any point dissipate?
They do seem to vanish aside from just a few points off of the corners where kind of the harder rock is almost broken. But other than that, you don't really see any actual prints on like the flat surface.
Okay. Does the sled have any tracks where it's leading in a different direction?
Absolutely, yeah. You kind of watch as it winds for a moment, and there seems to be a bit of a startup where it starts to head out, and you can tell that clearly at some point they kind of were starting their bearings where they start to wrap, and they're going primarily like south-southeast.
Okay.
What direction are we supposed to be heading?
We are
east
going
northeast.
to the east. Yeah.
So whoever last came to this observatory decided to head out after stopping here. Perhaps that telescope leads us somewhere. Maybe can show a picture of something in the far distance that we need to see. Has any of us looked through it?
That was what I wanted. That's what I want to do. Is it on any kind of swivel, or does it pretty much just look? I imagine that's west.
It is, but it's very minimal.
Okay.
So the movement here only goes, a few feet in either direction. Given the size of this, that is fairly significant, but not especially so in what you would, hope for a giant telescope. Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Yeah, let's see what I see through here. Well, 6.
6. Okay, make an intelligence check.
9.
9. Okay. Generally, this just looks to be aimed back in the direction you guys just came from.
Okay. I wonder if this had to do with any dealings they had with Rudon, maybe? I don't know. Does it look upwards, or?
A little bit, but not not especially high into the sky. No.
Okay, so it seems like it's to actually observe surroundings. Okay.
I think we're thinking too much into this. I'm sure plenty of people come out here and at least find a little bit of safety in the desert.
Maybe so. Yeah. Well, in any case, it's not going to give us the look I had hoped it would give us for the path ahead. Best we've got is that we're at a raised platform. If there's nothing in front of us, that's all we've got.
Only if Barry would listen to me, I would ask him to take another look, but apparently he's just on his own.
Barry, go take another look.
Barry is laid out sunbathing currently.
Oh,
He's very busy.
Useless.
They grow up too fast.
We were better off with Rumgar. Maybe we should have sent Barry away.
That hurts. I think
your
we've seen all
child.
we can see here, guys. Should we continue forward?
I say we continue. At least we gave the Sandwalkers a break. And Barry, apparently.
And Barry.
Yeah.
Hopefully he comes with us still.
Let's hope.
Okay.
All right,
Be on our way.
carrying out.
As you guys start back, one
wanna-
more group survival check for me.
Do we want to avoid the tracks that go kind of a little bit southward of where we're going, or do
Say it again?
actively? Do we want to avoid the tracks that go kind of in our direction but then veer off?
I think we're on a
Try to
mission.
stay far. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Do you want to be wary of it?
Are you
They went in
saying
the
you wanna
opposite
go,
direction, right?
North and then east, or
Right. Exactly.
Well, the
If
tracks-
anything, veer farther north.
Yeah, the
if we
tracks
wanna
kind of
be.
went in a different direction, so I think we're fine.
Okay. And actually, real quick,
13.
I'll take a vote for whoever's kind of steering 1 and 2 here.
Steering to.
What is the pace? We going fast? Are we taking it slow?
I think somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
I don't think we're
I'd be
taking our
rushing
time, but I don't think we're
the
pushing
Sandwalkers
them.
slow, in general.
Not especially, no.
Okay, no, then I'd just let them do their thing. I wouldn't rush.
Yeah, just
Okay.
normal pace.
All right, and everyone's survival?
I
19.
got a 13.
20.
20, okay.
Wow, you guys did
19.
great, and I have a great survival too. 9.
Okay. Okay. No, that's actually pretty considerable. You guys tracking and going off of what you've heard from minor stories here and there. Oz having given a few little tidbits of note last second. You kind of look around towards obvious traps. And Cleave, especially with some of your knowledge, despite not being the one to see them firsthand, are able to kind of just shoot off a few different ideas of what it looks like to kind of hide out in these wilds. I see that this is inaccurate. I completely forgot. It's nighttime, so it is a little tricky, but...
Oh, I would have wanted to actually look at the sky. I forgot too, because the picture didn't look like.
yeah, no, I forgot about that
Yes.
entirely.
True.
Tricked ourselves.
At some point, you guys are able to find your way to a bit of hard ground where there does seem to be a less shifty surface, if you will. And you guys are able to rest up for a time, if you would like. It is a good many hours before this point, and you can tell that your mounts are starting to get a bit tired at this point as well.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. That's probably better than waiting at the oasis where like people obviously come through. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What do you all think? Maybe a quick rest here. I would imagine it's been hours of traveling.
Yeah. It's been
We're
hours of
completely
traveling.
exposed here.
I agree. I think we should keep going until we can find cover.
We could. We don't know how many days travel it will be before we get cover.
2 or 3 to get back.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know? Do we have any idea about why it's going to take 6 days?
You know that you were given that timeline just for when Ivandil would be back, and so that is when he would be able to kind of retrieve this bounty, if you will. So in order for you guys to meet him before he leaves again, you guys would need to make it in time. But you also were given some insight as far as how far Gracht actually is. And so you know that at least to the major cities within Gracht, it could take up to about 3 days.
Oh, we gotta keep
But we're
going.
just trying to get to the outskirts.
Wait, is Grok?
You guys are just trying to get to the outskirts.
Yeah, but remember, we gotta find somebody, so it could take, even that could take a day.
Yeah,
So I think we gotta go.
I think we have to go.
Wait,
and,
that guy's supposed to be in Grokt?
Gene
like,
Caneda.
outside
He is
of Grock,
just
right?
outside of Gracht, in the
the-
kind of border territory that separates this desert from Gracht.
In some sort of like tombish cave area, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he went into.
There's like a rift in the earth, if you will,
Yeah.
that drops down.
All right. Well, we've got to give the Sandwalkers a rest at some point. And I don't know when the next time it is that we'll find someplace hard and safe like this. But we will have to rush them a bit more tomorrow then. What do you think? We could keep going, but I is it nighttime or daytime right now?
It's nighttime still.
We just keep going.
I think we should just keep going. They're used to resting in the sand, and I mean, I guess we could be more concerned about ourselves than anything.
Correct.
But I say we keep going
I say we keep going until we can't.
until they can't.
Till they can't. Cleave
I
is
don't
like,
that
no.
idea.
Well, the good berries should definitely sustain them.
For a day. Well, in any case, we could keep. They're most active in the mornings anyway, so we could go a few more hours.
Yeah, let's go a few more hours, see what we find.
Cool. All right. Yeah, without fail, as you guys take 2, I'll go ahead and use the previous check. You guys take note of more and more tracks about, and as the winds start picking up, you can feel as the sandwalkers start to slow. And you remember the warnings that you've been given that they seem to have some sort of sixth sense regarding the sandstorms around here.
Here we are. There may be a sandstorm coming. Give me a moment. Over the next few minutes, I put speak with animals back on. Do you feel something? Are you worried?
Winds are picking up.
All right. What do you do when the winds come?
Hide.
Hide.
Ask him if he knows anywhere around this area to hide.
You lead us. I won't tell you where to go anymore. You take us somewhere safe.
You watch as your entire mount just drops down and starts digging its way back
Knew
and
that was
forth,
gonna
just
happen.
shimmying forward and back as its entire body starts to vanish underneath the sand.
Well, it looks like they like your way of thinking, Rodrick. We might be burying ourselves in the sand before this storm comes.
With these
You all have your
masks,
masks, yeah?
At least. Yes.
Everybody make a perception check for me.
Perception.
What about Barry? Can he just help and look?
Make
Oh,
an animal
now
handling
I
check.
roll well.
15.
Make a what?
Animal handling
20.
check.
All right, hold on. My perception is 12.
Okay.
Animal handling.
An 8 for me.
4.
4. You start kind of yelling towards him, and you can tell that with a surprising amount of understanding, he almost like side-eyes you and just keeps going.
Wow.
Thanks, Barry. Appreciate the help. We'll just die in a sandstorm.
No,
Yes, he just
He's
kind
a baby.
of
We'll-
considers.
Maybe a
can-
teenager in a day.
we can dig ourselves down into the ground. Barry will die in a sandstorm.
I know.
I don't want him to die. I want him to help. I don't
Well-
want to dig in a hole. You
I
saw what
suppose-
came from these sands.
Yes, but
I
I
do have a
suppose
shovel.
we start digging.
Y'all watch as Barry kind of veering off a little bit further as you talk about this. Rodrick, Arlyn, you guys look over and you realize he's heading towards light.
Like towards the sun?
Not seemingly, no, but there seems to be light off in the distance.
Do you guys see that light over there? Seems to be where Barry's heading. Maybe we can still count on him after all.
Let's go. Cleave, can you get him out of the sand?
All right. We found somewhere safe. Somewhere safer than the ground. But we're going to have to... I know you're tired, but we're going to have to go double time. Fast as we can. That way. No point.
Okay. Yeah, without fail, as the sandstorm doesn't seem to be quite here yet, they kind of poke their heads up and both like look about. And as they do so, you feel the stretch as now rising well up from the ground. You feel these things just leap to their feet almost as you hear with the double time they just grunt and you hear like and they start just trucking it through the sands of the desert.
Nice.
And getting closer and closer, you guys start to see the outskirts of this hardened rocky formation. And as you look closer, you can tell that there is actually some sort of settlement here. And the closer you get,
Oh, wow.
the more you can make out a few creatures that seem to be able to make out the double time trucking through the sands
Oh,
at the same time.
no.
And you find yourselves listening in to the scattered screeches, screams, and hollers of not just goblins, but people.
Oh, no.
As you all approach,
Let me take the lead.
you're met with this series of goblins, and you can tell that one of them specifically reaches its way back up, starts to kind of climb this small little crumbling outpost barrier, if you will, and he looks up and just kind of back at the rest of them, and without word or warning, you watch as a goblin up top starts firing off at what look to be people pinned to a wall behind him.
Oh, man.
Wow.
How far away are we from them?
You guys are a few hundred feet currently.
I want to yell in 2 languages. I want to go from Orcish to Common and ask, Orcish or Common? But then when I say Orcish, then Orcish, Common, and Common.
They take a moment, and you realize that whether or not they're going to answer is kind of up in the air for a moment, but they definitely take pause as they kind of stop and look your way.
I am wearing Orcish hide armor now.
Yeah, the goblin up top, you see with like this small crossbow, just kind of pauses and squints his eyes at you as you guys are still barreling forward for the time being, at least.
No. As we come up closer, I had requested them like let me kind of pull forward to take the lead.
Okay. All right. So, are you just still double timing it towards them?
as we're riding, I'm gonna ask if you can light one of my torches from my backpack.
Could you get one? Just reach right here.
Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, you can just do that. That's right. Yeah, that's phenomenal.
It's pretty good.
And I'll just start like sort of carrying that upwards so that we're a little visible.
Hey guys, I don't like the feeling of this. I think I'm gonna veer off to the side in case we have to flank them.
Nice.
All right. Put my torch
So-
out for a second and then jump off and then reignite it.
Exactly. So I'm gonna jump off and start. Once we get close enough to where I can, maybe the last 70 or 50 feet or something like that, kind of make my own way going.
Okay.
Kind of.
As you do so, you can hear the scattered shouts as, much like what you two have done here, one of the goblins seems to have gone down, pulled back a small torch or similar with fire at the end, and brought it back up to the goblin standing up at this top deck here. And as they speak amongst themselves, you can see as one of them is just kind of waving fire back and forth, and the other one calls out to you in common.
What do you want? Shelter from the storm.
He kind of looks your way.
Why? Because it's coming. We've come here to warn you too. Which battalion you with? who do you serve? Hogar. I haven't met him yet. But we bring tidings of the coming storm.
And he
I'm
kind of
Cleave of the Orcs.
looks about.
We don't usually have orcs. What are you doing? I come to warn you of the storm.
Kind of looks around for a moment, and kind of swatting the other one away, he starts to take note of each of the characters now kind of walking up towards his camp. You can see he's just shaking his head. He
Wait,
starts whispering
Hold
something.
on. They should be way behind me.
Wait,
Right?
behind?
Yeah, well,
I was gonna
he's
say
flanking.
Calagon said he
Isn't he full
went
on
around.
hide flanking?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
so
way,
he's, like,
way up on
elsewhere.
a massive stone cliff. So
True.
yes,
Okay,
he is,
alright.
but no, it's not effective.
Okay.
I'm dark
and my
purple.
point
I
is, I just wanted to
blend
get there early on enough that I kind of foretell they were coming.
Yeah, he is unfortunately like the primary giveaway. As
True.
you start to roll up, Calagon starts going around, and he just kind of takes note. As you can see, he's watching Calagon, and he whispers something back to the other goblin behind him.
Do you know of the troubles of my people? We have long, our peoples have long had dealings, and it's time that we expand. I have with me,
What is the word?
emissaries from other races. If our word proves true that the sandstorm comes, and we help protect your people, I want you to hear what we have to say.
Okay. As you do so, go ahead and make a persuasion check. And you watch as, before you do so, he's kind of muttering something beneath his breath to the other. And you can see that the other one starts to walk off a little bit. And as he does so, the goblin up top just kind of raises his hand. He pauses for a moment and he squints at you.
They can't come in. I'll have them wait outside the camp when I meet you. But they have to come in for the storm. If your leader, Hogar, is it?
He told us kill anything that comes.
The thing that was coming would have killed you.
He'll be fine.
Very well. Our people like proof, yes? Your peoples and my peoples? Kill anything that comes?
Just kind of nods.
Get down here and try it.
I step off my sandwalker and I just pull out my club and my shield.
Nice. Okay.
I immediately grab the hilt of my sword. It's still sheathed.
Fantastic.
But I'm grabbing it.
He looks back towards the other goblin that he just kind of held at a halted position for a moment. And he says,
Remember our orders.
and he turns and immediately go ahead and roll for initiative as he's going to attempt to fire off a crossbow bolt at you.
Right on. 16.
Man,
16.
5.
Okay.
If it's not clear, I was trying to ask for a duel, but
Yeah.
okay,
It's
okay.
very clear.
No, that's okay.
He's a
We're
goblin.
not
He doesn't
jumping in
care
right
in the
now.
slightest.
But we're ready.
9.
Okay. So it was 16, 9,
11.
11, and
Arlyn rolled a
16,
5.
9, 5.
Yep.
16, 9, 11, and 5. Okay.
A beautiful
All
5.
right. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let me just add everything here. All right. Sorry, it was Cleave was 16, right? Rodrick 9.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. 11 and 5. Okay. Perfect. Well then, first up, as he goes to turn with his crossbow, you now just challenging to the duel, you realize he is a conniving little goblin, and of course he's not going to accept a duel. He sees a full, massive half orc over here. He's a goblin. From the few things that you've heard in passing, you know that these are cowardly creatures who only know murder and nothing else. And so as he turns to you, kind of half expecting it in your mind, you're actually just a hair faster as you go first.
Right on. All right. All right. So let's see. What is this? What was that?
That's hilarious.
All right. Help me understand here. So am I just on the outside of an entire fort? Like there's not like it's all just like closed off? Is that?
There is, yeah, it's kind of, there are like a series of palisades across the outer entryway, and then a clear set of doors. What you can see currently is just the one goblin way up top, and the other a little bit closer. There is another one just outside the entryway. You guys would be a little bit further back here, other than Cleave, who now you would be making your way up towards. And you can see that there is another goblin now lower who has dropped back down, but not made his way back into the camp yet.
Okay. So I would be able to walk in if I wanted to.
Not yet. No, not that you can see. It's closed off currently.
Okay. In that case, I'm just gonna. Which is the one that I was talking with? Is it C?
Goblin B up top.
Goblin E. All right. Okay. I want to run.
So the initiative tracker.
Yeah.
I should
see.
be ahead of them. I rolled I rolled the 11.
Let me double check here.
Sure. Okay. So if I started here, I wanna run.
It has you as 1 right now.
Okay. What does he look like he's doing? Is he looks like he wants to run inside, or is he just about to have like a fight?
C's just trying to get back inside right now.
Very good. Then I would like to run my 30 feet up this way and like up onto this little rock right there. And then I would like to, if that's close enough, is I need about 30 feet. I would like to just like let out like my little like wimpy Cleave roar, just like and cast Gust and try to blow him off that cliff.
Okay. And I take it that requires a save on my part?
It is a strength saving throw.
Okay. And what is the DC on that
DC
one?
is going to be. It's my DC. I would know if it was paper. Hold on a second.
Uh-oh.
Is it not that hot? 12.
12. Okay. Now specifically,
it?
does it move him a set amount of feet?
10 feet.
10
hold on,
feet.
Wait, hold on. No, let me double check. There might be 5. I think objects are 10 feet. Yeah, it's just 5.
5 feet. Okay. All right. Nice. Yeah, you watch as toppling over the edge of this cliff face.
Oh my God.
Goblin just goes flying as he's lifted airborne first and reaching downward for a brief moment. You see as he drops his crossbow and just starts toppling backwards, and you can see where his legs just kind of flip over his head, and he just goes flying, and with a loud crack you can just hear screams of goblins underneath. Where you take it, there are definitely at least a few hidden back there.
For your treachery. No one else dies unless as long as I speak to Hogar. Is it Hogar?
Hogar.
Okay. No one else dies as long as I speak to Hogar.
Okay. As you shout this out, you can see that there's some level of kind of timidity to the goblin at the gate for a moment, and you can just watch as he kind of turns and starts scratching frantically at the gates. And as he does so,
Sound like Spanish
you
girls.
just hear screams from the other side, and finally a call from the other end.
All right.
And as the doors open for a brief moment, he starts just kind of running his way through there. With that, Calagon, you're up.
Okay. Those rocks are not climbable. I'm assuming that wall isn't scalable.
Not with ease, but
Where
it
are you on the
certainly is if you want to try hard enough. There are
I
a
can't see
few
Goblin
different
A
dangers
from where
there. From where you're at, you can. He's also pretty high up there. You can see him. He's holding a torch, and you can see he's kind of leaned over the edge currently.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to magic missile Goblin A.
Okay, roll to hit.
Yep. Let's see if I can knock him over. No, it hits automatically.
Oh yeah, that's right. Duh.
Magic
So how much
missile.
damage is it dealing? That's oh
is the
man,
question.
so much better.
That's pretty good.
8, 9, 10, 11. 11 damage to that goblin.
Wow.
I love the cowardice of goblins paired with the absolute monstrous rolls sometimes brought in by him.
Poor goblins.
This goblin, as he's leaned over the edge, as I so noted just a moment ago, you see that he just takes these bolts to the chest, and as he reaches out, you specifically noted that you were trying to hit him off of this perch as well. And so as the goblin topples, you first watch as his head just kind of falls down and almost ducking between his knees just slams directly into the hard stone below him, and his body just falls forward and rolling one level after the next.
How are these guys still fighting? We're brutalizing
You
them.
hear this massive explosion,
Oh my gosh.
and
What was he carrying?
very similar to what you had previously experienced. I would like everybody to make
Oh my
a
gosh.
dexterity saving throw for me.
What the heck?
No. Fire everywhere.
I get
There was
the
a
one with
pre-made
napalm
map
on
for
his
if
back.
they
Dexterity
explode
saving
the
throw?
place. What is this
So
place?
Oh my
Good.
goodness.
Oh no! Why did I roll like that?
Come on.
What is that?
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. I roll terrible when it matters. 2. We get nat 20s when it don't.
9 for me.
9.
4.
Okay, so 9, 9, 4, and sorry,
Two.
which one was yours, Arlyn?
2.
Do we have to repeat it?
Okay.
2.
So 9, 9, 4,
No
yeah, all
way.
those. Golly. All right. So then,
Did I just do my first fireball?
okay.
Inevitably.
Cleave, that's going to be 9 points of fire damage.
Oh, no!
Everyone else,
Don't.
simply due to proximity, including Calagon,
No.
just due to the outer barrier, will only take 5.
Oh.
Are you down?
Nah, I do great. I'm good.
Now, with that,
Wow.
I would like to
I do
ask.
try to hold in all of my screams of pain. A lot of times I react a lot to pain, but I'm just gonna.
I suppose
Out of sight,
Calagon and Arlyn, go ahead and roll an animal handling check for me.
Oh no.
Oh, great. Okay. 19.
Okay.
22.
Sheesh. Okay.
Nice.
Let's
go.
go.
Let's
When it
go.
actually
Terrifying
matters.
as this was for these creatures, you kind of pull back at the last second, and rather than sprint off, you kind of dig them both down into the ground, and they take hold of their natural instinct to just kind of hide away. And dropping down, these creatures, these sandwalkers, 1 and 2, just burrow themselves as deep as they can, as quickly as they can, into whatever sand they can find, and just kind of dive off to the side. They do send you both toppling for a moment, but it's at no injury to either of you from this. You can see that clearly they were hit by portions of this explosion where splintered wood has now fragmented and shot out along with the fire, and you can see that there are small little splinters and things that largely don't seem to be piercing their hardened exterior, but the flames certainly have burnt the outsides. And as you look around, Cleave, you're the first one to note now that the gates are wide open. Human and goblin alike inside decimated.
Oh my goodness.
Without fail, as you look to
Inhabitable
this
now.
to this campsite, it's an absolute mess. It's a travesty. As you look inside, you can just see the bodies of these goblins just kind of thrown about and scattered, and you can see
What even happened
just
here?
a bunch of goblin bodies.
I don't even know.
Along with
I'm just so
3 human
powerful.
bodies.
No
One of
movement?
them in a
Everybody just looks
cage
dead?
and 2 of them pinned up top. No movement whatsoever.
What on earth was this?
This was
weird
your
encounter.
decisions. That's what that was. I didn't expect that to be over so soon, and there were many
But you
variations
apparently
of
did
this map, for the
expect-
record.
yeah, okay,
Many
all right.
variations, and you guys... Literally, as I'm like, oh yeah, no, he's leaning over with the torchlight, and there are barrels below him. Like, everything about that was just the perfect calamity.
Well, all right.
So
Arlyn
with
goes,
that,
Guys,
Well.
we gotta get out of here.
Don't think we can take safe haven here.
Do
Um,
these
Still
goblins
have to.
do these goblins know us as the Fire Horsemen?
Get up and I stream.
That's the second time we've exploded a fortress of some sort.
All of their hideouts get blown up.
Yeah,
Well,
guys,
I think we're
we
all
gotta get out of
charred.
here. People could see this from miles away. They're gonna come wondering
That's
where
just
this
fine.
explosion was. We gotta
Very
get out of
true.
here.
The storm is coming. It just is.
So
If
what do
you want to lay,
suggest?
then
Would you-
I suggest we take the chars on our chests and our faces and do nothing about them tonight, and we
Is-
lay down like we're bodies and we sleep as charred bodies.
Is there
in
any
the-
point
But the
of
Goblin
entry
army
into
will-
this place? It's,
the-
or it's
it
there
Well,
is, yeah. The doors themselves are blown off, but the rest is surprisingly intact, actually.
Should we just
Well,
go
we should-
inside and try to
That's-
scavenge what we can?
I think so. It'll all be cooked.
But yeah, is inside on fire?
A lot of it, yeah, for sure, and it's pretty darn
Let's
hot.
take these sends and maybe try and put out the fire.
Once again, I have a shovel.
All right.
Incredible.
We
As you guys-
inevitably have to shovel.
Begin shoveling. You do take note that with the desert sandstorm coming, it will inevitably help to put this out at some point. And
we
you
just need a
guys
little
are
trail.
able to kind of just take your time watching as some of this burns out. Luckily, there's not a lot of fuel, and again, the kind of wooden pylons over at the edges, the outskirts of this encampment, seemingly untouched. It was an explosion, but it wasn't held long enough to actually ignite these. And so, for the most part, you just watch as over the next half hour, it slowly begins to dwindle. And
Is there like a cave entrance? Under
Yeah, I was
that
gonna say, is there a
rock
cave
thing?
or are the humans up top on top of the mountain?
they
thing?
were on top.
and they're still dead.
Yeah, they're
Oh my
super dead for
goodness.
Or at
sure.
least their bodies are.
Yeah, yeah, they're very
Those
dead.
were the next people we were supposed to take along our journey, and I blew them up.
Well,
I'm
there
sorry,
you go.
guys. So no cave system.
No cave system, just hard rock that, again, slowly is turning to embers as you guys are able to kind of make your way in now. You feel that there is a slight drop here where it all kind of burrows down, and then it's almost like a natural staircase that kind of winds its way up to this secondary observation deck of some sort where clearly they were scouting from. You could take note that the one up top that you had first encountered was, we'll say, toying with his prey. as these two people up top were not enjoying themselves, but alive previously.
Ah, yes.
And
Any indication as to who Hogar might be?
Go
Anything
ahead.
look bigger?
I'll say make an investigation check at disadvantage to see if you can
Sure.
find any remnants of information
Why
within
not?
this
That
camp.
was the nothing. One of them was really good, but the other one was. Am I good at investigation? I feel like I might be. I'm not. So that's a 9.
A 9.
Very sad.
Cool. There's kind of this brief scattering where you realize, like, he definitely noted a form of hierarchy, and so you start looking around and you follow through and you see where the one person was held off in that kind of eastern corner. There seems to be a little bit more in terms of like a form of bookkeeping where there's this charred crate, and as you open it, you see that there is actively a fire burning inside, and unfortunately, before you're able to get to it, it seems to start to kind of burn up.
Yeah, I just like.
Closing it back up, you just kind of watch as it slowly dies down along with the rest of it. And settling in, you guys can hear now as the winds start to roar, picking up louder and louder. And as the winds start to come through, you can see breaking through the sands just the hints of light coming from above as it's now being swarmed and enveloped by the sands. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Wow.
I don't feel
Brutal.
comfortable.
I was so proud of the interaction I was having.
Oh,
You know, I'm still.
The
I'm still
leader's
proud.
gonna
That was
come
kind of
for
cool.
us.
That was great. No, I love that outcome.
Let's continue to make
yeah.
enemies out of these orcs.
I was really hoping that something fun would come of that
Wow.
encampment, and that certainly is like
Love
the most
that.
fun one.
That's
That
crazy.
was a quick
So you know what?
encounter.
I'm just
knocked
gonna
down the
drop
guy
the
with
flames
Very
back.
unexpected.
I knocked down a guy with a torch and he landed on gunpowder.
Yeah, so that you guys can see, there is in fact a very clear case directly under where Goblin A was. It is not in any way hidden.
You know,
I knew I should have went to the
Spars
side.
Spars made a very good point. He said Tristan could have made them barrels of water. He made his choices.
You better believe it.
He knew what he was doing. It was gonna happen.
They have set ways, and as you guys are learning, they are at least similar to the orcs in certain ways, who have now begun experimenting with certain concoctions. So,
Oh, no.
now that you guys are somewhat familiar with how the goblins function in this area,
We're either
You
going to be
guys
their
get to experience them a
boogeymen
lot more.
or they're just going to hate us and hunt us down for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think
Yeah.
the leader saw what happened and for a rude awakening here soon.
I
But
think the leader saw death.
you think they're scared to death?
amazing. Well, what a beautiful way to wrap up a what I thought was going to be like next session's combat encounter.
Nope.
In like 2 minutes. That was really good. I was waiting for like a breach and then to just kind of close it off there. No. Well done.
And I
In
like
part,
it.
Calagon.
Saving spell slots. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, you definitely saved everybody
Yeah.
from a lot of, harsh combat. However,
I did kill people though.
yeah, there were some casualties, and that happens
I didn't mean to.
sometimes.
It does.
Sometimes
It
they
was
don't.
It
manslaughter.
happens. You
It wasn't
guys
murder.
don't get a chance to know anything about those people, and
Aw, man.
unfortunately, you were not their
Lovely.
savior this
And
night.
you know what?
Was that Skibbity?
You were.
Skibbity up there?
It was
Did I just
Skibbity.
kill Skibbity?
It was freaking
wild.
Skibbity and
And the girl. What's the girl's
and
name?
what's the other
Wow.
Shit,
character?
make it out of there, bro.
No, Skibbity and Hank.
Oh man. No, they would be imprisoned by these little goblins. So.
They wouldn't be. Yeah, they wouldn't.
They're pretty.
Incredible. All right. Well, we'll pick back up here next time, next week, trying to see what these guys make of the scattered remains of this goblin encampment and see what they can find after this point as they head further eastward towards Gracht, hoping to find Jean, the archaeologist Kinito.
Yes.
We love you guys. See you next week, and God bless.
Later.
Hey guys, it's Joel. I play Cleave.
And today I'm going to talk about a tough topic for the church these days, correcting others. That it's not easy, because whenever you see something that you think is wrong, you might point it out, and you might hear somebody say something like, well, Jesus said, don't judge, or you'll be judged too. And how do you then, how do you move forward? What if you see something that's wrong? Is it wrong to point out that somebody's hurting somebody else and they shouldn't do that? Is it wrong to judge others by saying, hey, I just saw that you judged others and Jesus said not to do that? Isn't that a judgment call? What do you even do? So I want to kind of unpack that a little bit. And it's been a tough one for me. It's always been, it's not easy. So I want to jump into probably one of the harsher, maybe one of the harshest verses in the Bible at first glance, at least how it sounds, which is Proverbs 12:1. It says, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid. That's like I said, it could sound harsh. So how do you reconcile that with Jesus saying, do not judge? Well, I think you have to look at the rest of what he says, right? So we know it's pretty famous. Jesus says, don't judge or you'll be judged by the same measure, right? And then he goes on to say, there's a plank in your eye, and why don't you, you're trying to get a speck out of your neighbor's eye. Why don't you take the plank out of your eye first? Well, then he goes on, he says, first take the plank out of your eye, so that then you can take the speck out of their eye. And maybe that sounds like he's just saying, like, you have no right to judge because you're always going to be, a sinner yourself. So you're going to be the biggest hypocrite to judge. So how do we know that he's still saying that you should judge after you've taken the plank out of your own eye? I would go to the very next sentence where he says, do not cast your pearls before swine. He's talking there about don't take your wisdom and throw it in the face of somebody who's not going to take it. People who are basically, who Jesus is judging to be swine. They're just, the knowledge is wasted on them. They are like the person in Proverbs 12:1, somebody who's stupid because they hate reproof. That's a tough lesson, because Jesus is making a judgment call there and saying some people just aren't going to hear it. How do you then know when that is? Because so often, I think the plank situation is important, because a lot of times that's us. That's me. I've got a plank in my eye. I'm the one who doesn't want to hear the reproof, and I'm being stupid. So I think we have to learn to love reproof, to learn to love being disciplined and corrected, and that's a hard lesson for ourselves. And then we've got to learn to be kind, and hopefully not this harsh, most of the time when we try to correct others. So I want to pray. Lord, please just watch over me and that my mouth only speaks words that come from you. I pray that whenever I'm walking around this world and I see injustice and I want to correct it, that I don't do so by my own wisdom, but always by divine inspiration. In the name of Jesus, amen.